Witajcie everybody! In this video I would like to show you something that I found about the reality capture quite recently, and I think that might speed up or simplify your workflow with that particular software. So let's get started. Right now we are inside of the version of Enterprise Reality Capture. I'm quite sure that feature is introduced to free PPI version, and if you are not sure, just check inside of the workflow tab. Do you have sequence and add button? If you do, you are fine. This video is gonna be in two parts. In the first one, I'm gonna tell you how to edit buttons that you already created here, because many people use that feature quite long. It was introduced in the last update, I believe, but if somehow you never use it, I strongly encourage you and stick to end of this part when I'm gonna tell you how to use it. Let's say that you have your set of buttons and you haven't used the reality capture quite long and you have no idea what particular button is doing what. And it's a shame because, for example, for me, I have buttons that are about the workflow, with the normal objects, and the workflow related to material creation. And for example, let's say I want to know what kind of features and what kind of command lines type the material 1 button. When I click it, immediately I'm gonna receive an error because there's an error inside of the logic of reality capture about the chain of orders, the command lines that I created and put inside of that button. So right away I received an error about the missing control point with that particular name. Okay, I don't care about that. I want to know what that command line is doing. And there's no way inside of the reality capture to change order of those buttons to check what they are doing. And I found out that it is possible to change those buttons, edit them, change their name, rearrange them inside of the Windows register edit keys. Sadly, it's not a thing that is stored in the, let's say, of the text file, and that additional step that might be a dangerous one because we're gonna enter inside of the Windows register edits that might break your computer. So stick with me and follow my steps because otherwise you risk a lot. To enter inside of the register edits, you need Windows administrator rights. And you can enter there in two ways. First one on the Windows 10, but probably on the Windows 11, Windows 7, Windows XP. I know you are there, people. You enter register editor and just enter. But if you are like me, you're gonna enter Windows R to find the rec edit. Then you're going inside, confirm that you have administrator rights, and then you need to find inside of the current user, you're gonna see everything like this. Go to current user, software, and find the capturing reality, because that's the name of the company that creates a reality capture software. Don't focus on the other folders except the batch buttons, because up here are our buttons that are stored here. Order for those is as follows. So there's a first button, second, third, etc., etc. And when you reach the 10 or more buttons inside of the register, it's gonna enter those numbers here next to, because it's focused on the first number instead of following the order. But the 10th button up here relate to that one post row. And I know that I have too much buttons, so let's say I want to remove the button number 12 and 11. So I can do that by GUI and click I want to remove the cut by box. And as you can see, for short command lines, it's perfectly fine because we can see the whole command up here. But when I have something way more advanced that I care a lot, it would be a shame to lose it, I have no idea what's going up there, right? Because the command line is way too long. That's a problem, obviously. So instead of removing the enters up there, I gonna do that inside here. You can just count to see which button have what kind of number. So I know that I don't want 11 and 12, so I'm just gonna remove those. Would you like to remove? Yes, please. Yes, please. Then I'm gonna close the ID capture, reopen it, and as you can see, we remove those buttons. Now, let's say I want to check what kind of command is doing the material one, as I said on the beginning. So we just go inside of the particular button, we double click, and we received option to edit that particular key of the register. Obviously, sadly, once again, there's no option to extend that window, but we can Ctrl A, select all, Ctrl C to copy it, and then we open any kind of notepad or text edit software on your computer and paste that command line here. In my case, I use Notepad++ because it's allowing me a lot of things, and as you can see, I can just zoom in and I can see that my post row button have all those commands that gonna be placed inside of the command line feature of the ID capture. And I can see that, for example, on the last stages that weren't visible inside of the GUI, the button gonna remove selected triangles and rename my currently selected model into the remove particle. It's gonna change the name of that model. So that's the way how to delete those, check those, edit those buttons. So let's say I change my mind, I make test with the current version of the button. I don't want to rescale my computation region by 99%. No, I want to change it to 80%. So I can just introduce those changes here, then Ctrl A, go back to register key, Ctrl V to paste it, and click OK. And that's it. You just change the thing with your button without adding a new one. Because normally you would only add a new button with all those commands typed up here by hand once again. So when you don't have those somewhere saved, you are done. And third thing about the regedit that we can do is to export and rearrange those buttons of the GUI. For now, I can see that my workflow have 6 buttons up here, but I don't like the order of the first one because somehow I make a mistake or forgot or decide to change the name with the register edits. And I see that align button is supposed to be on the second position when the text role is supposed to be the first one. So I'm gonna right click on the folder batch buttons and export it. We're gonna save it. Let me see if I have opened it already. No, it's fine. So we're gonna overwrite the existing one. Yes, please. And let's head to the new created file. When you double click it, you're gonna receive a prompt. Would you like to merge it back to register of the Windows? We don't want that right now. We want to edit it. So up here, I can see that first button and second align by 3 times and the text rules are in correct order. So I'm gonna copy the first button lines like this, make a copy and move the second button inside of the position of the first one, like this. Ctrl C, Ctrl V, very easy and fast method. Then we remove the copy and save it. Take a look up here, number 1, number 0. We close it, we close the ID capture. We double click on our freshly edited register key export. Would you like to merge it inside of the Windows register? Click yes, success. And when you close it and once again enter to the register edit, gonna see changes up here. And when you open the ID capture, you're gonna see those changes as well. And I can see that I made a mistake because I'm supposed to have the other one here. So let's see what kind of mistake I made. I have backup of those just in case, but I see I made a small mistake. So once again, let's see what's happened here. And first, alright, I delete the button up here. So once again, save it. Introduce changes, yes please. Okay, success. Re-enter to the software, and it is as it should be. Number 0 is detect errors, number 1 is aligned by 3 times. Up here, it's the end of the video about that trick that I want to show you. In case you never use that feature of the sequences buttons, stick with me because we're gonna quickly go over those. Reality Capture introduced a video with the instruction and everything on the YouTube, so go there if you want. In case you want to dig into that feature by yourself, you can use the help window up here inside of the Reality Capture. So go to the mode that is layout with more than one window. In that case, that can be with the 3 windows. And I move the 3D view on the side because I don't use it. Go for the top one on the command line and for the bottom one into the help line. Up here, click enter CI. It's command line input. Take a third square, and up here you have the list of all commands that you can enter inside of the command line window. Those command lines are simplified version of those buttons up here. For example, let's open the test project and let's quickly align everything and mesh it with the preview. And let's say I want to introduce a command line that is cut by box. When I click it, normally in the GUI, I receive the additional window, and I can see that I have option to cut inside of the reconstruction region, so that one, or outside. And would you like to fill holes, yes or no? I don't want that, but I want to make a cut by outer. So we find with the Ctrl F, it works like a website page, so you can just use those command lines from the web browser and find something that we want. In my case, I want to cut by box, but if you don't have a quite idea, that search gonna find information from the description of the buttons, so there's a high chance you're gonna find anything. If not, just try to find the button you want to introduce inside of the GUI and then search by find. I know that cut by box feature command line is here. So when you want to use a command line, you need to pay attention to the letters. Always select and copy C, copy, Ctrl V, paste, because it's capital letters sensitive. Each single new line command starts with the minus button. Then you just copy paste the command, and you see we received a prompt about the additional information about that button, but I knew that I want to cut by outer, so I'm gonna make a space button and click outer. Then I have additional feature option to fill the holes after the cutting outside elements or inside elements, but as I said, I don't want that, so I will not include that word in my command line. That's it. We can click add new one in the workflow, and there's new command line button that's gonna cut by box outer. And click enter. There's your command line. As you saw, my command lines can be very, very long, same as yours, and they can speed up your workflow significantly because instead of, let's say, finding the control point, make a defined distance, when you use the same ruler like me, you can find those particular control points, define the distance between them, then update the reconstruction region, create one, change the, I can see I introduced changes here, change those elements as much as you want, then cut by box, etc, etc. And it speed up everything significantly in my case, probably for you as well. And just that's how you create those. When you want to add additional command line, you use the space button once again after finishing previous one, minus button, and let's say I want to align 3 times even. You can do that, but obviously the order of those command lines matters. So in that case, let's Ctrl X to cut, Ctrl V to paste, and that's our correct order. Then let's say I want to import model and reproject things. So let's say I want to make a import model. Once again, file name, it's gonna lead you need to lead the software to the correct folder, input path, and name of your file. The possibilities are quite big because you can load the parameters from the external files. You can have separate buttons for separate scenarios. And once again, when you make a mistake, for example, you mistype something, let's say I enter incorrect or a mistype, the reality capture will not prompt me. There's no such a command line possible to enter, because when we try it, reality capture execution failed. But when I want to add that as the command button, there's nothing that stops me, and then you have an issue and you need to remove everything. So let's say you make a mistype instead of that kind of long command line. Now you knew how to change those, make those fixes, and make it working once again. I believe that's all for that video. Thank you for watching, and hopefully that's gonna help you with the reality capture software and speed up your workflow significantly. I knew those buttons changed my workflow for sure.